Eberechi Eze to Arsenal is close. A hijack of Tottenham Hotspur's move has taken place today, as I predicted it would this morning. The Kai Havertz deal has sparked Arsenal back into life. They are closing in on the England international. Tottenham had lined up a deal earlier today with Crystal Palace, but following Havertz's injury, Arsenal are now pushing to close the deal. Tottenham reportedly moving on to brand new targets. This is drama. This is massive. This is the Done Deal Show. Let's go. Huge news this evening to bring you, to go into, to talk about as well. Absolutely massive. We've actually got to change the color of the background as well. This is gargantuan, though, in every single... And we spoke about this earlier on today. We said that something had to happen at Arsenal Football Club today, and it certainly has. This is the full story here from David Ornstein. We're going to go into it in more detail, but of course, like this stream right now, get this stream shared across your social media platforms. Make sure you get this put across into all your group chats. We want to hear from you tonight as well. We're taking phone-ins. But this story here, Arsenal have made their move for Eze, and the player wants to join them from Crystal Palace. Talks over the England international between Palace's chairman, Paris, and counterpart Daniel Levy had taken place in recent days, but Arsenal's interest had remained, with negotiations now underway between the clubs following the knee injury suffered by Kai Havertz. Spurs had the conditions of a deal agreed. They had the deal agreed with Palace today, and the player, but are ready to move on to alternative targets if Eze chooses Arsenal. Palace would not finalize a deal because they wanted the 27-year-old available for Thursday's Conference League playoff with Fredrikstad. Arsenal have indicated a willingness to meet the conditions, and he wants to join them, leaving Spurs with little option but to look elsewhere. It said The Athletic reported earlier on Wednesday that Arsenal were actively exploring the transfer market to potentially reinforce their attack in the event the German international is sidelined for a significant period. Eze, who was a boyhood Arsenal fan, played in the club's academy, is keen to make the next step in his career, and Palace accept he deserves a top move. But this deal has escalated quickly. This move has moved on very, very fast indeed. And look, listen, I thought something like this would happen. As I said earlier on today, I didn't think there was any way, any form, any shape that Arsenal could go into this season. One, I didn't think they could just allow Spurs to do this. Maybe they would have acted anyway. Maybe they would have acted at this point regardless. There's a real chance of that. But I just felt at no point, there was no way that Arsenal were going to allow this to happen. I just didn't think it. I just couldn't imagine a world where this happened. And they've stepped up their efforts this afternoon. They've got this done. And this is gutting for Tottenham. And I'm going to stand on what I said every single what? Yeah, sorry, I was reading the message. Sorry, I thought I was getting a message come through and I just was wondering what that was saying. I just didn't think that Arsenal would allow this to happen. This would have been a fantastic move for Spurs. This would have been a huge move for Tottenham in every single which way. The news is now breaking from other areas too, and it feels like there's going to be a very, very quick resolution to this deal. Ben Jacobs here with an update, who says Arsenal are in formal talks with Crystal Palace for Eze. Arsenal were pushing after holding talks with Eze earlier in the window, as, of course, he broke the news. Mikel Arteta has spoken directly with the Palace attacker. Spurs have a full verbal agreement in place with Crystal Palace, as reported, and Eze also agreed terms. However, Eze is expected to pick Arsenal if club-to-club agreement is found. Kai Havertz's injury prompted Arsenal to move. So listen, I'm not ever saying that injuries are a good thing. I'm not saying that anybody should ever want injuries to happen to a player, but it does actually appear right now as though this injury situation that has taken place is probably helping Arsenal here in the longer term, because they needed someone like Eze to come in. There's no doubt about it. They needed a player like Eze. They needed an individual like it. And they've gone and got it now. They've gone and got it now. And this is, as I said before, absolutely massive in every single which way you can imagine. Every single which way that you could imagine, this is gargantuan. This is gargantuan. It really, really is one of the biggest moves. I mean, listen, there's already a rivalry between the two clubs. We don't need to beat about the bush on that, but even more is now going to be added to this. Even more is going to be added to this. It really, really is. This is huge. We're going to be taking your calls very, very soon. I'm just having a few more messages sent through to me. I'm going to bring these to you as best I can live. I'm multitasking right now at the same time. I'm just sharing Ben Jacobs' cracker here for the world to see, because that is absolutely huge in every single way imaginable. There's also an update here from Fabrizio Romano as well. Fabrizio has just said that Arsenal have approached Crystal Palace today to sign Eze. Surprise move follows Kai Havertz's knee injury, as Arsenal have offered more to both the player and Palace to try and win the race. Negotiations underway. Well, look, I think this proves exactly what I was saying this afternoon on videos yesterday. Arsenal Football Club had the money. Arsenal Football Club could have got this done sooner. And look, there'll be some gooners that might want to beat around the bush on that, complain about that. I don't think there's any room or any time for that. This is just massive. I think Arsenal fans should be very, very happy, because Eze is a serious football player. On the left, centrally, he can create, he can score. He's brilliant in the transition. And I'm just glad that we didn't. I know we already lost the game. I'm glad we didn't have to face him the other day on that one. Absolutely massive. It truly, truly is. Let's go to some of your comments that are coming through live on the show as well. Sadiq here with a super chat says, so makes me and most Arsenal fan supporters very happy. Eze is an Arsenal man. His wish to play for Arsenal is coming true. Credit to the club if we sign him. And look, you've still got to get it over the line. You've still got to get the deal done. There are some I's to dots and some T's to cross, but it does very much appear as though this deal will get over the line. I do think it will get over the line, and we are going to share the link if people want to call in, if people want to have their say on this. I'm just going to share this in some of our group chats right now, because I know a lot of people are going to want to speak about this. Our member chats, if you're one of our members and everything else, it's all in there. Do some more of your comments here. Arsenal are massive, is what John says here. The history of the Tottenham. Look, I said this the other day, and I wasn't even trying to have a dig at Spurs, because I think it was a fantastic piece of business they were lining up. But it just felt to me as though I couldn't understand why Arsenal were going to let this happen. It wasn't just about missing out on him. It was allowing Tottenham to strengthen themselves. It all felt a bit off. It just felt like bad business from their point of view. It really, really did. Let's have a look at some more of your comments here. Literally twice in the same window, Eze has turned down Spurs for the mighty Arsenal. And I suppose, do you know what I would say, Mr. Arsenal Podcast? That's probably the one worrying factor about going back into him. Going back as it for Spurs is that you already know that he's kind of turned you down for somebody else already. Then you're doing it again, and you're putting yourself in a position whereby there was always the risk of this. There was always the risk of this happening. There really, really was. Tottenham too slow to get it done. Do you know what, Sass, though? I don't think they were too slow. I was told today by a Spurs fan who DM'd me saying, Terry, there's nothing to worry about. It'll be announced by 2 o'clock today. I made sure I was available around 2 o'clock to go live if the news broke, and it never came through. And I just had this gut feeling something might come. I just had this gut feeling. I just had this little inkling that there could be some really, really big news in relation to this. And look, I think it's a game changer for Arsenal. I think it's an absolute game changer. And we'll get into why in just a into just in just a moment here. Let me just update one little thing I've been sent through here. I'm just updating the title of the video slightly to make that work, but I do think it's a game changer, and people are going to ask me why, and I think it's a real easy one, a real easy one to explain. It's a game changer because Eze is just so good. Arsenal have changed the game here. Arsenal have flipped the script. They truly have. Yes, losing Kai Havertz is one of their strikers, but they had Moreno that stepped into that position last year and did every bit as good. So they already have a backup. Gabriel Jesus is also not far from returning, so they have another backup there. Victor Gyökeres's availability is also very good. Plus, we haven't actually, we as football fans have not yet seen the prognosis. We don't know how long Kai Havertz is out for. It could be a couple of months, could be 3 months, could be a bit longer. There is talk of it being an ACL, but let's see how long he's out for. But they've got cover in the striker position should they need to use it. Eze. Tottenham, when they got this deal lined up, I said it changes Tottenham's season. They go from being a team that I think will make the top 8 to a team that could have pushed for the top 4. I think Eze is that special. I think Eze is that brilliant. I think Eze possesses that quality. He can play on the transition, which is going to be important for Arsenal in a number of games this season. Yes, they beat Manchester United. Yes, they beat us at the weekend. But you could see with better quality in the transition, that could have been a far more devastating result. He's fantastic at doing that. He's proven that in a Crystal Palace shirt. On top of this, and I think which is even more important, is the player comes in with a clutchness to himself. Not only has he scored loads of important goals in the league for Crystal Palace over the years, if you go back to last season and watch his performances and his output in the semi-final and the final of the FA Cup, you saw something different in him, another level. Scoring in those games and helping your team to win trophies is one of the most important parts to becoming a legend, becoming a world-class football player. I think it's so imperative to have that, whether it be in title races, whether it be in semi-finals and finals, these moments of brilliance that are needed from players to kind of scratch their names into folklore. He went and did. Clutch. We know he has a technical ability, and I think what we'll also see with Eze is now that he's going to join a team like Arsenal, you will see his levels go up a little bit. Very similar, in a similar way to we saw with Elise when he went to Bayern Munich. We've just seen an even better player. Now, what this also is, and this is an important thing, this is also a headache for Waneri. This is also a headache for Odegaard, but this is an important headache. This is the type of headache that every single football fan of Arsenal Football Club should want. They should be sitting there. They should be praying. They should be buzzing at the idea that they now have genuine competition. One, Waneri is going to have to really deliver to get a central role. Two, if Odegaard isn't playing well, you have a genuine, bona fide, experienced winner that can step into his place. This man can bench almost anybody at Arsenal Football Club. That isn't a dig at the current squad. That is praise for the quality and the brilliance that Arsenal will now possess. And we cannot allow ourselves to get we can't allow ourselves to forget that. You will see people that will say this is a problem. Where's he going to fit in? Where's he going to play? How's it going to work? This is a fantastic problem to have. Now, I'm not trying to put Kai Havertz's injury into a make it sound like a good thing. But sometimes in life, when there's a grey cloud, there is a silver lining. And the silver lining in this injury for Kai Havertz is Arsenal have acted. Unlike last January, when Odegaard had just returned and Kai Havertz was injured and Saka was injured, and I forget whoever else was injured, but it was a lot of players. Arsenal didn't act. And it was one of the reasons they fell out of the title race early, and they didn't have that extra firepower, that extra clutchness, that extra ability in that semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain to get themselves over the line. Eze could have been the difference. He has the ability to score team goals. He has the ability to score screamers and self-made goals out of nothing. And you need more and more players like it. PSG are full of them. And they proved that last season. So I look at this and I think from a squad perspective, Kai Havertz getting injured may be one of the biggest blessings in disguise that you have ever seen, at Arsenal. He is going to come back from that injury at some point, so that's an additional player. As I've mentioned, the likes of Moreno can go into the striker position if cover is needed for Victor Gyökeres as well. So I do think overall, this is a fantastic piece of business. And I spoke about this earlier on the Straight Facts podcast that I have, and that I felt that if Arsenal went into the season and the money had gone on Madueke and Victor Gyökeres, I didn't feel that was enough. Not because, listen, if Victor Gyökeres scores 30, 40 goals this season, it could damn well be enough. There's always a balance in this. But you have to look at what Arsenal's competitors are doing. You have to look at what City are buying, and there's still a chance they go and add more to their attack. You have to go and look at what Liverpool have done. Plus, they're still probably going to add Alexander Isak. And sometimes it's just about, you want to be proactive as a club. The vast majority of the time, you want to be proactive. You want to be ahead of the game. You want to have all your ducks in a row. But there are also times where you need to be reactive and say, hang on a minute. We were only going to buy Madueke and Gyökeres and Zubimendi as our main three players, plus some backup options. But because of the extra firepower a rival has gone and bought, we have to act in a similar way. Now, I think you might see the narrative change in the next few days that Arsenal were planning to do this anyway. They certainly can't hide behind the notion that they don't have money, because they've gone and done this before selling anybody. And this is what they should have done irrespective. But long story short, it is very likely, according to the news, that Eze is going to become an Arsenal player. And this for me changes the script. This is a game changer. And this is a player that could, and I want to repeat the word could, so nobody misconstrues what I'm saying. This could be the player that helps Arsenal win their first league title in 22 years. He has the ability now, alongside everything else they have in their team, to make that happen. They have good wingers. They have brilliance through the middle. They have a prolific goal scorer. They have amazing youngsters coming through. We already know the midfield is set. The midfield of Zubimendi, alongside Norgard, Rice, etc., is from a protective point of view, it's there. Defensively, the best in the country, potentially the best in Europe. I think that is absolutely undeniable. Doesn't need a debate. I think it needs no debate whatsoever. Eze to Arsenal is a damn scary signing. And to add insult to injury, which I know Gooners are going to absolutely love in every single which way, they've taken him off Tottenham. There is something poetically beautiful about that. Poetically beautiful about that. And I think that Berta's first summer was at risk of ending at best in an underwhelming way, in a way in which our Arsenal fans were left scratching their heads and saying, is he really better than what we had in Edu? Has he really delivered the players and the squad to help get us, and that's me speaking as if I was an Arsenal fan, over the line? But by pulling this deal off, the timing of this deal, beating Tottenham Hotspur to that signature, this is gargantuan. And it's the game changer in the title race that, just me, if I neutralize myself for a minute and take myself out of this as a Man United fan, it's brilliant. As a Man United fan, I'm actually buzzing. I don't want Arsenal to win the league in my heart of hearts, but Man United can't stop Liverpool. Man United can't stop Manchester City. So I have to look at this strategically and say, it's a bit like the weakest link. You ever watch the game, The Weakest Link? Sometimes you get the last 3 or 4 contestants and they realize, because they've all got brains, they go, we've actually got to vote the smart one off rather than ourselves, because none of us can beat the smart one. And that's how I sort of feel about this. My team can't win it yet. So I do look at the deals that Chelsea and Arsenal were doing and say, please do the best you possibly can, because I need someone to stop number 21 from Liverpool. I need someone to stop Pep Guardiola winning more and edging ever closer to Fergie's total number, because who knows how long he's actually going to stay here for in case he extends further. So I am happy to see this from a perspective of somebody stopping Liverpool, somebody stopping City from winning it again. Idealistically, I'd rather it be my football club, but there we go. But listen, Arsenal, this is massive. You've got to get the last few details over the line, but I think you have just changed your season. Hit the like button, please. Make sure you are subscribing. Get that bell notification turned on as well. Wow, what fantastic business. All right, let's jump into some more of your super chats. Then we're going to start taking your calls. If you want to phone in this evening, we're going to share the link in the live chat for you guys now as well. By the way, you guys have got nowhere near enough likes being hit right now. Nowhere near enough likes. And I thought, it's funny, a lot of people saying they haven't had notifications come through. That's because people don't turn the bell notification on. Have you? I'm just going to put this in here. Right, that's done. Let me put the link in here as well. There we go. So I'll put the call in link and I'll pin that in case anyone new wants to come through, because I'm going to go to your calls, but I do want to hear from you guys. One sec here. Just sharing that link in there as well. Big up, Rob. Thanks for tuning in, mate. I can see you there, my friend. I appreciate it. Sam, sorry, I can see you there. Right, let's do some of these super chats that have come through this evening on this massive breaking news. All you doubt my club, all doubt my manager. This year will be different if this happens. If we're serious, make the praise as loud as the disrespect. Waneri just got a headache. I was just talking about that. I don't think he has got a headache. I think this is brilliant for Arsenal and for him, if I'm being honest with you. Had Liverpool as favourites, maybe it's Arsenal now, is what Ronnie Dodge has got to say. Worst thing about it, Igal was right. Yeah, listen, we had a laugh at Igal's expense yesterday, everybody did, because after that announcement of the personal terms were added. If you haven't seen it, we'll play it for you now, actually. This is what Igal said on Staffy's show. And maybe you can blame Staffy for cooking him online too. I mean, we shared it as well. Maybe we angered the football gods.
I say, what are your thoughts though about Eze and the whole Tottenham situation? Because it seems like he's agreed to join Tottenham.
I'm waiting. I'm sitting back. I don't think he's a Tottenham player by the end of the winter.
You think he goes to Tottenham, or you think he comes to Arsenal?
I think Tottenham pay for his hotel to come to the Emirates.
Igawa's got it so spot on. Igawa's got it so spot on. You almost can't write it. You got to give man credit for that. You got to give him credit for that. Simple and as straightforward. Simple and as straightforward as that. You got to give the man credit because he's gone and pulled that one right out the bag. Why have I clicked on that and it's gone to something weird? 1 second. Sorry, because I'm trying to keep up to date with the breaking news as this all goes on, because on top of that, another update from Fabrizio Romano, actually, so someone just sent through to me now, so I'm going to read this to you. This is very interesting indeed. So if you're an Arsenal fan, maybe get a little excited here. He says, following calls tonight, Arsenal are convinced that Eze prefers to join them over Tottenham. 60 million package offered to Palace, with easier add-ons and faster payment terms to beat Tottenham. Negotiations underway. So yeah, this news is breaking, but this news is coming thick, fast, and quick. And when that normally happens, you know what that normally means. That normally means it's going to happen, and it's probably going to happen very, very quickly indeed. Wayne here says, I believe Arsenal was always going to go in for Eze. I do think it's true that we are trying to move players first, but the injury changed things. And you know what? You could be that could be very, very true. It could be very, very true that you look at it and you think to yourself, Arsenal was saying, right, we were going to wait till we sold someone over the next couple of weeks. But with the injury and you've got Liverpool on the horizon, it may have just been a case of we've got to move now. Maybe it did spark things on. But I also thought it was interesting that You know, Ben Jacobs is getting a little bit of stick right now. For example, you said Ben Jacobs said that the terms were agreed. But what Ben Jacobs said is that the terms were agreed in principle. That has also been confirmed by other. I swear Ornstein has confirmed that. If I just read Ornstein's article, Spurs had the conditions of a deal agreed with Palace today. They did. So, yeah, I mean, this is the point. So anyone can go at Ben Jacobs here, but he was absolutely spot on. They had the conditions of a deal agreed today. It was done. It's literally a case of Arsenal have come in and gone, no, we're not allowing it to happen. I literally, like, some people, this is why journalists write the way they write and everyone moans. But yeah, no, it's an absolutely crazy one. Absolutely crazy one. Someone here says Arsenal are coming in hot and heavy. They are, and they've got to. Terry, do you think Arteta would bench Odegaard for Eze? Yeah, if Eze performs, he absolutely could. I think people get a little bit. I know he's the captain, but he gets subbed off a lot when he isn't playing well. It 110% could most certainly happen. There is no doubt about it in my mind. That could most certainly happen. You know, terms agreed isn't signed. Listen, agreements in principles are not done deals. Done deals and here we goes are not completed deals. Tottenham have proven that all summer. All summer, people have a go at my terminology. I only kind of created the terminology. One is a little bit of a joke, right? Because it made me laugh how the transfer terminology really became funny for football fans. But I used to just say done deal was the end of it. And then we got to all these points where these done deals and here we goes weren't happening because clubs get sued and they pulled out of the deal. So I'm like, we've got to add another layer. There's got to be another stage to this. Hasn't there? And listen, I hate to say it, but I've always been right about it. People just don't like it. But there we go. Reports from way early in June said they'll stay connected and have asked Eze to hold off till late in the window. I gave up hope, to be honest. But Andy, I get why you'd give up hope because it did start looking precarious. This year, the update from Ben Jacobs now says Eze is waiting for Arsenal. Previous talks on the player's side are crucial in persuading him. Of course they are. Of course they were. And listen, it's what I said 2 days ago. I literally said 2 days ago, I can't understand for the life of me. Couldn't understand for the life of me why Arsenal were allowing this to happen. I've said all along that if Arsenal go in, it's over. If Arsenal go in, it's over. And it is. One sec. Sorry, peeps. I don't know what. My computer is really doing weird things right now. I was just in WhatsApp and I pressed one button and my whole screen go funny. So I've just been sent another update through here. 1 second, people. Do you reckon any Spurs fans will come on? I wonder if we can get hold of any. One sec. I'm going to message a few of them now. I'm just sending out a few links because I'd like to speak to some Spurs fans tonight. I'd like to know what they're thinking and feeling whilst we are live on the air in relation to this. Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm going to just message a few in this group chat as well to see if anyone's about. I know there's people backstage and I am going to come to some of you guys, but I really do need to speak to some Tottenham fans this evening. Bear with me just a second while I sort this out. Bear with me just a few seconds, people. All right. And I'll be with you guys as soon as I can. Yeah, let's back to some of your comments here. Terry, what's your thoughts on Goldbridge and the Bundesliga deal? Obviously fantastic. I spoke about, I was live on the United stand when it broke today. Fantastic. He's the GOAT of the industry. I've said it for many years. And where I'm really happy for him, other content creators just can't go and copy him. They can't just go, oh, we're going to do something similar now because it's something that's exclusive. And I think he deserves that because most of the time, a lot of us go through what Mark does, but Mark on a bigger scale, he invents something, he creates something, everybody goes and steals it, and there's no recourse to it. So at least this time, people can't be stealing his intellectual property and his ideas. It's brilliant. Terry, I won't be surprised if Eze and his agents were aware of Arsenal's situation, but knew that Arsenal will leave it late if they came in for him, considering the release clause, getting the best fee, etc. Yeah, look, I think there's an element of that will stand true. I think from my point of view and perspective, I just think this really comes down to, it was weird because the agreement in principle was there between Palace and Spurs, but yet it still sort of dragged. It still sort of dragged its heels and didn't move forward. And the whole time that was going on, it just felt to me like something big could come from this. Something was there, but I didn't want to marry myself to that because I wasn't sure. But yeah, it's one of those real interesting ones to me. But yeah. Oh, mate, it's so. Listen, people are making me laugh. People are making me laugh in the comment section. Let me just send this out as well. I'm just sending out this link right now. I'm getting ignored by every single Spurs fan I know. Like literally ignored, like I've never seen before in my life. Because again, I want to speak to Gooners in a minute. We've got quite a few backstage that we're going to bring on because obviously they're going to want to speak about this. But yeah. Crazy times. Let me just check this here as well. What's this link I've been sent? Well, that's very much the same news, to be fair. That's not, sometimes you're like, is that new news? No, it's not new news. But there we go. Let's go back to some more of your comments here. Waneri, Eze, Saka, all are feasting. Amazing is what Hero says. Surely Spurs use the money for Savio now. Well, that may be who they pivot to. Again, they've got extra money now as an example. But that being said, Savio plays on the wing. They're clearly looking for somebody that can play central. They're clearly looking for someone that can play in those central positions. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see who they pivot to next. Piers Richardson says, we are getting Eze today. We're getting Eze. Today is a good day. Wayne says, Spurs supporter here. My club and Daniel Levy are a joke. More than 50% of us were doubtful Spurs were going to pull off the Eze signing. Yeah. Listen, I got to a point where I wasn't, and I kept on having to say it on streams. I wasn't saying Arsenal should hijack because I thought 100% thought they would. It was I couldn't understand why they were letting Spurs, because the player had already this summer edged towards Arsenal and Spurs pulled away, and Arsenal needed this, irrespective of the injury. Kate's backstage. She's drinking a whole bottle of whiskey. My word. No, we're going to bring Kate on. She's not. We're going to bring Kate on in just a minute, and then we've got Rob coming on. We've got Joe. We've got Jason and others as well. I'm just reading out some of the names at the top of the call in there. Do you reckon Arsenal were always in talks with Eze? Well, they have been. AR, you listen to Ben Jacobs. All summer, he's been on the agenda. He's been there or thereabouts. Interestingly, David Ornstein's article tonight does slightly contradict something he said a week ago where he said they called their interest. He said something a little different in his article tonight. But there was always a feeling at Arsenal. There was always a lot of reports that they were going to get a left-sided or a central player later in this window. Maybe they've sided towards a central player because of the injury to Kai Havertz today as well. But you haven't done it yet, people. Get that like button, hit. Make sure you are subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Dino here says Eze would be kind of stupid. Arsenal didn't want to pay before which showed you. Where's that comment gone? Which showed you how they rated him, and now first team he would be. Only now Havertz is injured. They'll be back. This is the thing, right? We spoke about this earlier on in this. I'm so glad you brought this up, and I can give an example about Manchester United so that people don't go, you're only saying it because it's Arsenal, because that's what happens a lot. Do you remember when Gyökeres preferred Arsenal over Man United? And people said, but Terry, what if Arsenal go for Šeško? What did I say then? I want better players at my football club. The same works in reverse. Eze wants to be at the best club possible. Now, if Liverpool would come in for him at the same time as Arsenal, there's a good chance he picks Liverpool. However, Eze is an Arsenal fan. He was at the Arsenal Academy. This is his dream move. He'll understand as a professional that things happen in the game. And all Arsenal will say to him is, this is how quickly Arsenal get around that. They go, listen, we were always going to come in for you. We just had to sell some players first to balance the books. But you got close to Tottenham, so we had to move now. And he'll just probably swallow it and buy it. And in the cold, hard light of day, it isn't going to matter because he's a pro. They don't think about this like fans think about it. Football players rarely ever do. Hey, Terry, love your work. You think Arsenal's window was done until the Kai Havertz injury, or do you think... Listen, I had suspicions, most certainly, and I called it out. You know, I called it out today on Straight Facts 3 or 4 hours ago. I said it's crazy if they end the window this way, Arsenal. I think it's detrimental if they end the window this way. They had to go and buy someone else. And I couldn't, for the life of me, I couldn't understand for a singular second why they were letting Spurs get one of the best players in the league when he'd already picked them this summer, and they've stopped it. Right, I'm getting Kate on. We are going to get some other callers on as well. Fair play to Kate, the only Spurs fan who's showed up. In fairness, George is live. George is going to join us in a little bit later on the show. So Kate is here with me now. Welcome back. Your face is speaking 1,000 words, but Arsenal have come in, Kate, and Arsenal have sent. It looks like they've taken a player off you at the 11th hour. Your deadliest sworn enemies.
Do you know what? The minute it came out that Havertz was injured, I said to Jimbo, "This is it. This is bad." And he was like, "Why?" And I said, "Because they're gonna come in for him." And I just knew. I'd kind of resigned myself all day. I looked out. There was no updates, and then all of a sudden, bang. We see that Arsenal have come in for him, and yeah, game over. Daniel Levy needs to fuck off out of my club is the only thing I can say, and I apologise for swearing, but do you know what? He had all the time in the world to get this done. There was no pressure on him to get it done, but he could have, he should have just paid the release clause and got it done, but he's been sat on his arse. This has been going on for days and days and days, and now our arch rivals have come in, like you say, right at the last minute, and are going to swoop him away from us. And it's just like, I literally feel like I've been punched in the gut. I feel sick as a dog. It's just so, and such a brilliant signing for Arsenal. I'm saying signing because we just all know it's going to happen. I reckon we'll even get the here we go tonight. They won't mess about. They won't want him to play in the Conference League tomorrow. They want it done. They know how to get these business deals done, these big deals. Daniel Levy is just a complete lemon when it comes to getting these deals over the line. He fart asses about. I just don't think there's any way back from him. The protests are going to be unbelievable because, you know, I said to you the other day on the show, if we sign Eze, if it's the best signing we've done for 10 years at least, you know, and then just like that. And it's not like he's just gone anywhere. He's going across the other side of North London. It's just like, oh, it's horrible. I hate being a Spurs fan sometimes, honestly, because I like to say the minute that Kai Havertz news broke, I just felt my tummy sunk and I was like, oh no, not again. I'm getting William vibes.
It was very interesting. I don't remember which journalist put this out, but I remember reading this morning somewhere. I'm going back through I think I might have timestamped it. It was a good few hours ago now, where they said something along the lines that Tottenham would be, I'm trying to scroll, but Tottenham essentially, the deal would be announced at around 2 p.m. today. And it's interesting because yesterday, Ben Jacobs said that the agreement, here it is. Yeah. It was ESPN. ESPN today. ESPN said that Tottenham are increasingly confident of completing the deal for Eze. So they said that, sorry. And somebody else, another top firm today said, here it is. No, not the one. I can't find it now. It was on this thread, but it's there. Basically said 2 p.m. today, there was going to kind of be an announcement. And from my point of view and perspective, I read that and I thought, oh, okay, that'll be safe then. When it got to 2 p.m. and as you said, it was dead silence. Not any little. There wasn't like an update going that rest assured Tottenham fans, the Eze deal is safe. That Arsenal can't get him because there was no noise. I agree with you. That I get why those nerves sort of crept in. And I came in my office. I was going to go live at about 9 o'clock tonight, and I was sitting there, and I get these feelings. I get these feelings. I was looking at like the Twitter deck, and I was like, I could just tell by some of the news. I was like, something's going to drop in a minute. You know, people that can watch fruit machines and they know where they're going to pay out. I'm like, it was just the way certain news was coming out. I was like, hang on a minute, what's going on here with Arsenal? I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that, I'm seeing this, and then it just went bang from Ornstein, and yeah, it did. Now you look back, it did have this kind of ominous feel about it. What's the next steps for you, though? What's the next steps?
Give up and go home. I don't know. Listen, I literally don't know this. I cannot wait for this window to end. It's been an absolute freaking disaster. We got Caduce that all looked good and nice with the world, and then Morgan Gibbs-White kind of messed it up. And then we've wasted all this time now on Eze. I don't know. I mean, there's so many players we're linked with as kind of like a second choice if this doesn't happen. But I don't trust my club to get anything done. You know, being a Spurs fan for as long as me, 40 odd years, you just grow to know that you can't take anything for granted until that player is holding up the shirt. You just never know. And it's just, yeah. I honestly don't know where we go from here. I don't know who we go for, but I mean, we've got no number 10. We still need someone to replace Sonny on the wing. We've got no left winger if we get injuries. So there's still so much to do, and yet we've wasted so much time on these players, and then they just say, actually, we've got a better offer. See you later.
I hear you. No, I hear you. Look, we've got Sam Reports coming on, who's a top transfer journalist. We're gonna add him to the stream. He's gonna give us the latest and understandings on this right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, strap yourself in. Kate, if you stay with us, Sam, welcome to the show, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. I mean, this just caught quite a few people a little bit blindsided this afternoon, especially as it was only a couple of hours ago. Ornstein said that Arsenal were not advancing with anybody, but we know the closer you get to deadline day, the faster transfers can kind of accelerate. But what's your latest understanding of this situation?
Arsenal have launched talks for Eze, but let's be very clear. Over the weekend, Tottenham had advanced in these talks. But today, Arsenal have launched talks for Eze. They've launched direct talks with Crystal Palace. Now, as I revealed, Eze's dream has always been Arsenal. Eze has always said that the Arsenal move would be his move if the deal came to fruition, but Arsenal weren't moving, so Eze opened the door to Tottenham. As I said, Tottenham had advanced in talks over the weekend, but no deal was done. Arsenal now moving because of Havertz's injury. Green light, I understand, is close. Personal terms not expected to be an issue. Now, I'm told that the player has spoken to Berta and Mikel Arteta on multiple occasions. Arsenal are willing to offer a favourable package. Guys, Eze to Arsenal is hot.
I love the update. It was like Twitter came alive for a moment. I love it. I love it. What changed today? Because is it the injury to Kai Havertz, or were Arsenal always expected to make a move like this?
Arsenal were focused on outgoings. That's the truth. If you ask Arsenal and you ask Arsenal sources, they were focused on outgoings. Kai Havertz got injured. They don't know the extent of the injury, or it's not public right now. So they've decided to move for Eze.
Interesting. And what do you think Spurs are going to do now? Will it be, I mean, all reports are City have blocked the Savio move. Is there another attacking midfielder? Because they obviously tried to get Gibbs-White. Sure. That didn't happen. They fouled it. What's kind of next for Spurs? Have you heard anything, any rumblings out there on that?
So I'm waiting for my Tottenham contacts to come back to me. I'm not sure exactly what their stance on this is right now. But what we do know is that Tottenham have the money because they went and launched, obviously, that bid for Gibbs-White. And they were close for Eze and they were advancing in that. But let's see if who and what Tottenham's targets are. I'll give you a message if I hear back.
I appreciate that. I know you only had a few minutes to give us, Sam. Great to see you again, mate. And keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Sam. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, he's a very good journalist, to be fair. I've met him on a private level a few times. He does know his stuff. He does know a lot of people. KJ is here. KJ.
Yo.
Mate, KJ.
You know what?
Bomber.
All right, listen. First of all, Kate, you know what? I applaud you because you're one of the only Spurs fans that actually show up when things go bad. The rest of them like to show up when things go perfectly right. All there for the Europa League final and all of that. When things go wrong, they'll hide it. But you're here, tears and all. We love to see it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. But Terry, I remember saying before, like, this is a risk that Arsenal needs to take, and them not taking it was it was confusing. I thought maybe it was a profile thing. Maybe they thought, oh, maybe they need to get for a winger that's more touchline and direct and all of that. So I thought maybe at the end of the window, you might see something like that happen. But they've reacted to a terrible thing in terms of an injury to Havertz, so that's not good, right? But they've decided to react, decided to go out there and actually sign a target that they've been wanting for a while. That is a serious club. That is a serious club, and I know Arsenal fans were on the necks of KSC and Berta and Arteta in the last couple of weeks because there had been no solution to this left-hand side number 10 issue. But they've gone out and done it. They've reacted to something, and they've gone out and do it. And you have to say fair play. Now, would Arsenal fans would have liked to be they have signed Eze anyway without this injury to Havertz happening? Yeah, probably. That's what would have want. But sometimes in life, you can take a bad thing and you try and make it good, right? I remember when the reason why we got Marcus Rashford is because 2 of our strikers got injured. Now, we didn't want that at the time, but we ended up getting one of the best youngsters we've seen in a while for Manchester United. So these things happen. And the best thing Arsenal have done is reacted quickly and got a target that everyone wants. Not just like some bog standard player, not some obscure guy from the Middle East, or do what United did and get some really old players in for free, like a Jamie Vardy or something. They didn't panic. They didn't just be like, oh, scramble. They said, you know what, let's take this risk. Let's go do something that we was probably planning to do at the start of the window. Let's go get Eze. And it's a great signing. It's a great signing. Now, Arsenal fans, this is where the real pressure comes. You get this over the line. You guys need to support this team. You guys have to support this team. I know it's going to be a long season. There are going to be times where you feel like it's over. There are going to be times where you feel like you're on top and it's going to happen. But you have to remain steady and support the team because your club is done movements that you've been wanting to see for a while. Probably one of your best transfer windows in a long time in terms of addressing areas that need to be addressing with quality players. Now it's on to you guys now to support this team for the entire season, not just 5 games, not just when things are going good and you get 1 loss in 10 and everything crumbles down. Forget all of that. Focus on the goal, support the team, and you never know, that might uplift the squad to go and lift up the Premier League title for the first time. So yeah, excellent move from Arsenal today.
Yeah. Listen, I agree. An excellent reaction from them. There's no doubt at all. Rob, obviously you're a Gooner, and earlier on today it was very interesting because we were all criticizing Arsenal not making a reaction. I know that I know I was balanced because you actually said it in the comment section, but you were sort of calling for people to be relaxed and let's see what we do. And there's obviously a lot of fear mongering going on, and Matt Law is going to end up looking really silly for suggesting sort of like really cheap, crappy loan options were all Arsenal were going to do. But you must be relieved and excited by the prospect of Eze now becoming a Gooner.
Yeah. First off, I just want to say it's a pleasure to be on a stream with Kate. I think you're great, always coming on, even as Arsenal Tottenham rivalry. You're fab. Every time I see you're on, I've got a lot of time for you. Yeah, I'm really pleased with the news. It's so funny how it worked out because I was just finishing up dinner with my girlfriend, and bad news, Kai Havertz looking like he's got a lengthy injury. And I said, Arsenal fans are having a bit of a meltdown online because Eze signing for Tottenham, or so it seems. And then I just sat down on the sofa, I looked at my phone, the Orm bomb. I was like, what? So yeah, it's been a crazy evening, really. But yeah, I think the very first time I phoned into the Terrace and spoke to you, Terry, it was the Eze or Rodrigo chat, and I sort of said to you, if I could pick one, I would have gone for Eze. And I just think he offers the team so much, like across that front line. And I just think, what's this going to do for a player like Namweri? I think Eze is going to be like a real shining light for him in the team. It's going to offer him so much guidance and level-headedness. I just think he's going to really improve someone like Namweri as well, with him and Ødegaard in that middle. So yeah, I'm buzzing. I really hope this goes through. I don't want I don't want to jinx anything because obviously he's going to be playing tomorrow, is it?
Yeah,
for Palace in the conference.
That's probably unlikely to happen. Sammy McBell, an update right now. Sammy McBell was just tweeted that this deal is moving very quickly. Expect Eze to be an Arsenal player. Agreement in principle already in place. So this does feel like the here we go is also going to drop. It could happen any second now. It's one of those things. I'm going to do a bit of a Ben Jacobs. It's going to be any second now. It feels that this could drop.
You know what hurts the most as well for Spurs fans. You've basically did the negotiating for Arsenal. You've just literally handed him on the plate. Arsenal know the price now. They could hear what Spurs offered, but cool. It was agreed. Boom, here you go. Thanks, Spurs, for doing all the hard work. Yeah, that's peak.
Are they trying to outdo Newcastle was like having the worst transfer window? Sorry, Kate.
Do you know what? I really need to. Every season I say I'm going to take up knitting or something and give up football. But KJ just rubbing it in a little bit more there, saying we've done all the negotiating. Like I didn't actually realise that that's what's happened.
Yeah,
I think a player that you could pivot towards is, and it hasn't been mentioned, is Cliver at Bournemouth. I think he'd be a really good option.
They're not going to let him go. With all the players that have been let go, like how late it is in the window, they just lost Ouattara. Yeah, I don't know. Spurs, they've got Alakush that they've been linked to from Monaco. That's there. You got El Canous is someone at Palace are looking at to replace Eze. You could do the screw you. You could do the screw you to Crystal Palace and get their target to replace Eze. You know, that'd be some kind of move, some kind of lip back to Palace. You know what I'm saying, for slowing up the deal. Hey, listen, Jadon Sancho can play number 10. Like,
Jadon Sancho can do it. Yeah, Garnacho can. Oh, we saw Garnacho do it brilliantly. So there's some options there. Jason is a gooner. What are you saying, Jace?
You know what? I'm so happy, to be honest. I can't lie. Like, to be fair, it was a space of 24 hours. Like last night, I was a bit annoyed where, you know what? Why is Trossard signing a new deal and then salary increase? Oh, then I was like, today early in the morning, it was like Kai Havertz is injured, and then we kind of link with the likes of Morgan Rogers or someone. There's a whole load. There's like a whole host of names that is coming up, and then this just went bang. Like all of a sudden, David Ornstein, like bomber. I'm like, you know what? I can see why Palace kind of like, you know, trying to delay the deal, like because they want both of their players to play in the Conference League. I'm just like, you know what? There could be something in this. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm actually happy, to be honest, because you know what? That's one of the most important deals that we should make this summer because of the lack of creativity that we're having. We saw it against United. And you know what, man? The midfield was out of pace. And I feel like we just need someone that can spark this whole team. And I think Eze could be that player that can actually take us over the lines when it comes to like a tight 1-1 draw at the Emirates or something like that. So it's one of those things. It's just a kind of like a needle mover that I'm really happy about. And you know what? Welcome home. And you know what? I think the only thing that I could be annoyed about would be, you know what? Arsenal's kind of moving it. It's because of the Kai Havertz injury. That's why we're kind of making this reactive move. Why do we have to be this reactive? Even though, why couldn't we get the deal done earlier? That's the question mark. That's a slight downside I would want. But other than that, I would like to get as much. I want to get another left winger, to be honest. I can't lie. I do want another left winger because it's one of those things where it's very important because Martinelli's not good enough.
Bomber for Man United. Well, not quite, but nearly. Napoli have made a new contact with Man United today for Rasmus Højlund. Talks underway. Højlund's camp also in talks with Napoli as the player is keen on a move, whilst also wants guarantees to stay at the club in the future. That's Napoli. That is not a simple loan. So United getting closer to an exit there as well tonight. Albert, my old mate, how you feeling about this one?
Oh, this is one of those sweet, sour moments where I'm a Kai Havertz guy. So seeing him getting injured, but his injury making sure that the one person I wanted to really come. I think the last time I was here, I really wanted Eze. I was confident that if we got Eze, we don't need Rodrigo and the rest. At this particular moment, that's where I hold still because he comes straight in, he's fit, they've been, playing, and he's top class. On top of all that, I think that will make us, I'm going to say it here, it makes us, it gives us an edge in the title race. I'm just going to say that here because this is the one person I thought. I didn't even think Rodrigo was going to be that good a fit physically in terms of how fast this game is. But Eze is perfect. He's going to be that X factor every now and then with that low block, people not moving. He's able, he's powerful, he's strong, footwork, he can shoot. We have basically about 4 world-class attackers right now at the Arsenal. There's no excuse. I'm not going to give Arteta any more excuses. We have to win this season. Sorry. So that's where I'm confident. Eze was the missing piece. I was so down yesterday. I love even Trossard, but it just felt like they were doubling down. And I thought because there's Dawson and Nwaneri, I think they were just trying to kind of just bring them in quicker. I thought that was the plan. I didn't understand why they were not going to Eze. We're having Tottenham going for Eze. Like this was going to be ridiculous. So thank you and sorry, Kai. You'll come back mid-season to add some more fire and we win the thing. There we are.
I hear you. That Albert, top man. Thank you for jumping on, mate. I appreciate it loads. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you. We've got Seb on there as well. I'm going to go to Dave. I'm going to go to David next. So Dave is a United fan, but from an outsider's perspective, how big a move is this from a title race perspective, Eze joining Arsenal?
You're a mute, friend.
I've unmuted this one.
Thank you, sir. I mean, massive congratulations to Arsenal. As much as that hurts me as a United fan that was born in 1991, I hate Arsenal, but massive congratulations to them. They've basically done their own version of Galacticos in this transfer window, if we're honest. I mean, Gyökeres, Zubimendi, Norgard, now Eze. It's unbelievable from Arsenal. What I did want to touch on, and I think we all need reminding of it, there's a food chain in football, in transfers. And I feel like we've forgotten it. When Newcastle were in for Sesko and United were in for Sesko, there's a food chain. He was always going to pick United. Liverpool have come knocking for Isak. There's a food chain. He's always going to go to Liverpool. And here we go. Tottenham thought they were going to get Eze. There's a food chain. It's just how it works. Arsenal, if they come in, they're going to get it. They're going to grab that food. We suffered it a lot as United fans. When Real Madrid comes knocking for one of our players, I don't think we moan too much. We know what happens. We have to give it up. We have to sell him. So amazing news for Arsenal. I think they've got to be favourites if they get this signing to win the Premier League. I don't know what you guys think, but I hope they don't do it. But amazing. Congratulations, Arsenal fans.
I mean, there certainly is a food chain. There certainly is a food chain in football. And I know that a lot of upstarts and I know that a lot of the slightly smaller clubs don't like it. But there's an irony to that as well, though, because if Spurs were going up against Fulham for a player, then I'd speak about it in the same way. It's like the jungle. There are certain there are a handful of when it comes to Spurs competing with Arsenal for a player, when it comes to Newcastle competing with Man United for a player, there's only one apex in that. There's only one apex. There's only one animal in that where we'd all go, that's the apex. Equally, they're sometimes the apex predator in their environment when they're going up against Fulhams and when they're going up against, Everton's in the modern day game. And it's the nature of the beast. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel like a lot of fans have forgotten this, though, lately. I know, listen, it's going to hurt losing Isak for Newcastle fans. But, I mean, the Premier League champions just came knocking. They've just signed Wirtz. Ekitike, of course he's going to want to go. I mean, I get what he's done is... It's the modern day, a football player can now go on Instagram and say how he feels. I think there's pros and cons to that, I'm not being funny. If Isak didn't score any goals next year and was absolutely terrible for Newcastle, the fans would be like, we need to replace him ASAP. So you've got to protect yourself as a player as well, All it takes is a bad injury and you're done. You're finished. So when these opportunities come up, I hear it. If you have the opportunity to go on Instagram, I am from an old mold where you just don't do that, right? But this is where we're at, and I don't blame him for doing it. But we need to be reminded as fans, there is a food chain. It's how it works. It's very difficult to break that food chain. We've seen it just now with Spurs and Arsenal.
But the thing is, if Spurs have done due diligence and acted like a big club, there wouldn't have been a food chain because Arsenal weren't even into him at the time. So it was us. We basically, again, we're in a one-horse race and come second because there was no one competing for Eze at the time.
No, I agree with you. So this is the thing. If we're going to go back to the jungle analogy, you caught your prey and you were, instead of just killing it and eating it, you sat there for a while and played with your food. And then the apex come along and went, oi, oi. Bam. We've all watched Jurassic Park. You've seen one big dinosaur eating another little dinosaur, and everyone goes, oh no, that's scary. And then the T-Rex comes in and kills all of them. That's what happens. And I think, as you're right, that's why when you had the opportunity to get him, and I'm someone who cares about the price. So always try and get the price as cheap as possible. But there was always that lingering thought of what if an Arsenal comes in for him? You should have just got it done, taking him off the market. Because once you sign that contract, it's essentially over. It's complete. And it would have been Arsenal left sitting there going, oh my God, we've messed up here. Now the injury has happened. And you guys kept the door open, and Arsenal have they've kicked that door open. And this ain't a Bruno Mars.
Bent us over like Bonnie Blue. That's what they've done.
Jeez.
Well, listen, Jimbo told me. No, I'm joking, right? So anyway, I don't know.
50 G's, baby. 50 G's. What is it? 60 G's in the bag. Come on, man. We back alive, mate. We back alive.
Yo, don't believe this hard fraud. Man was texting me, oh, this club sucks, bruv. We're in the mud.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, listen, mate. That was yesterday's SAD, mate. Today's SAD is a different man. Do you know what I mean? I've just seen the bank account open, Arsenal Football Club coming in with a quick 60 M's, dropping it down, mate. Listen, I can't lie. I'm fraudulent because I'm getting gas now. Do you know what I mean? Eze, not the left winger that I wanted. Of course, everybody's going to sit there calling me negative Nancy. But regardless, it's not the left winger that I wanted. But it's still an addition to the squad. A talented player. I'm here for it. And on top of getting it over Tottenham. Hey, listen. A Willian 2.0, mate. A Willian 2.0, mate. When the big dogs knock, do you know what I mean? It's different, mate. It's different. The knock is different.
Big dogs who only ever won the second place trophy. Yeah, well done.
Don't worry. 13 Premier League trophies, brother. Listen, I can roll off the trophies. Do you know what I mean? We got trophies in the bag. But listen, all I'm going to say is I'm gassed. I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? I thought I'd come in here, give my little 2 pence. I actually want him to be... I actually want him to fight with Ødegaard for a position. I don't really want him at left wing, in my personal opinion. I don't think he's the right fit for a left winger. I think he's better on in the 10 position. But listen, they're possibly bringing him in as a left winger. I don't know what they're bringing him in.
Well, I would look at it this way: if they have reacted to Kai Havertz being injured, they're looking at him as a central player, because if it's a reaction, you're not going to bring in a winger to replace a central man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think the good thing about Eze, he can play out there, so it gives you a little extra there. But how excited are you about your attack now that you are going to have him as well? Are you looking at your attack and thinking, that can mix it up with everybody else in the league, no problem?
Listen, the important thing for me to say is I'm still not confident in the left wing options that we've got at the moment. I'm not confident in Martinelli on the left wing. I'm not confident in Trossard, and I'm not confident in Madueke on the left wing. Do you know what I mean? Them three options. Eze is better than all three of them, even though I don't think he's a proper left winger. I think he's better than all three of them, me personally. Just because he is somebody who has creativity, who has shown it to a very, very good level. We've seen him. He's not, with all due respect to Crystal Palace, he's not Crystal Palace level. He's way above Crystal Palace level. He's a top level attacker in the Premier League. So he's going to be better than any option we have on the left wing. But still, I agree with you. I think if they're going for the Havertz thing, and they're basing it on what has happened to Havertz, I do think he's going to play centrally. Which, listen, I'm all up for it. I think Ødegaard needs to kick up the arse to tell him, like, listen, you're not untouchable. You can be replaced in this squad if you don't fix up, and if you stop doing this stupidity and these stupid passes and just having some of these poor games. There's somebody here knocking at the door that will take your spot, and he won't give it back up. Do you know what I mean? So, listen, I'm all up for competition. I want every single player to be under the risk of losing their position and having somebody there competing for it, because that's how you build an elite squad. That's how Man City built their squad, and that's how Man City won all those trophies.
because they had everybody in there competing. It doesn't matter what position you were in, you had competition behind you. You could lose your if Pep didn't think you were playing right for 2 games, you might not even be in the team sheet. He might leave you at home. So that's how it has to be, man. I'm happy that Eze is coming, but I still do think we need a left winger. I think we need to get rid of the left wingers that we have, because I personally think they've run to their end. They've gotten to their end, in my personal opinion. Still,
I hear you on that. I'm gonna go to Seb in a second. Joe, as a rival looking at this, what you thinking and feeling about it?
Well, I don't think he will play centrally to start with, because I think Arteta will have loyalty towards the players that have been there for longer, like Odegaard and Rice, as we saw. So I do think he will play off the left to start with, which is probably what the Arteta's outers will beat him with a stick. But to be fair, I think he could do an inside forward role, as he's shown at Palace. You know, he does average 2.6 dribbles per match, and the only players that are behind him, you know, he's top 3 most successful dribbling per game, and the only 2 players are Mohamed Kudus and Doku, who are in front of him. So I think he could do a job off that left wing and help Arsenal break down those low blocks and help him. What Martinelli does is he does cause an issue, but he doesn't really, you know, he can't beat a man and, you know, create a good like key pass. He's not really creative like Eze, whereas Eze, he will average about 2 key passes a match, you know. So I think Arteta will start him off the left to start with, but I think this is going to be such a versatile player for Arsenal. I think you will see him force Odegaard out eventually, because I just think he has that level above Odegaard in terms of, you know, scoring and creating at the minute. He got 25 goals and assists last season. So he's going to be going for 55 million as well, which I think is really good market value.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I can't lie. Just staring at Kate's face, yeah, because she messaged me on Twitter the other day, and while my life was falling apart football-wise, yeah, and was smiling, all laughs. She does these little cheeky ones where she pulls up in WhatsApp. Are you all right, love? What's going on? How are you doing? You okay? With these passive-aggressive messages. I know there's a message behind me.
I like you, Todd. I won't bother in future. You can swivel.
Guys, I've got to jump into a few super chats. But Ben Jacobs has just said that Eze is set to join Arsenal. It's getting very close to that, because I want to actually get ready for the Here We Go stream. But Seb, what you thinking, bro?
So hello, I'll be rather quick because I'm in a shopping centre in Gimaresh right now. But I think the first thing that came to my mind when the move came on was they definitely think Havertz is a midfielder, because every single player we've been linked to since his injury has been a midfielder. We were linked with Morgan Rogers earlier. I'm a bit disappointed because I'm quite a big Kai Havertz fan. I'm in a limited number of those. So it's disappointing that it's taken that if our interest has led to Eze because Havertz has been injured. They're completely different profiles anyway. I prefer to play Eze out wide, but the news itself is great news. Stealing a player off Spurs is even more satisfying. That is brilliant news. That's the best part of it for me. Stealing a player off Spurs, we're stopping a rival getting any better while making ourselves stronger. Even better for me. The versatility is there as well. Martinelli's display against Man United and last season was dreadful, so we can even play him out wide. So I think this is a brilliant signing. 60 million, I think, is a great price. Obviously, our hierarchy didn't think that was a great price, or would have paid it already. But I think 60 million for a 27-year-old who's in his prime, who's ready to go, Premier League proven. We saw against Chelsea, he was so good at the weekend as well, pre-season. So I think it's a great signing. I'm really happy with it. It's taken Havertz to get injured, which I'm really disappointed about. We don't have much depth up there at all anyway because of the Jesus injury as well. So I do think we should probably get some more backup with Eze, but I think Eze, terrific signing. We're getting a player off of Spurs as well, so double whammy for me. Perfect signing.
I hear you on that, Seb. I'll let you shoot because you're busy, mate. Enjoy yourself. Top man. Thank you, bro.
I'll let you know when I'm back from holiday. I'll be back on Sunday, so I should be a bit more active.
And, by the way, and congratulations on the engagement as well. I just want to say that public to you as well. So
yeah, thank you, mate. That's all right.
Lovely, mate. Take care.
All right, cheers, mate. Bye.
Yeah, mate. Bye. I love it. People are on their honeymoons, engagement things, and they're still calling into the show. We had a man the other week. Was that actually Seb? Someone called in on a fucking canoe. That was Seb. No, Nick. It was Nick. Nick called in on a fucking canoe in the sea. Is the best.
Well, the view was Nick, though. My man looked like he's enjoying life.
It was great. Positive Dan is here with us. Sorry, Adam, but Positive Dan is here. You must be feeling extra positive tonight.
I couldn't be any more positive, man. Honestly, absolutely
buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Football, man, it's strange the things football does to you. Because this morning I was backstage, Terry. You saw my face. Oh, mate, I've been down in the dumps since then, making videos on it, talking about maybe getting people like Jamie Vardy on short-term deals, because that's honestly all I thought that was going to be possible. When I've seen that Eze news drop, I just honestly, I could not be happier. I think he's got that X factor. You know, I was trying to play it down when he was going to Spurs, but listen, I honestly couldn't be happier. I feel like, listen, Havertz is going to come back from injury. So we don't even know how long it is. So in 2 or 3 months, however long it is, he'll be back. But plus we'll have Eze as well. The firepower we've got now, wow. I really, and you know what you were saying, KJ, I know you're saying that as a Manchester United fan, but it's so true. Like if you're Arsenal fans, they don't have any excuses now to not get behind their team. Seriously, because you can moan and moan and moan. The board have acted now, whether they were doing it because of the Havertz injury or not. They've gone out. I've just heard David was just on. I was listening to it on the car on the way home, and like he said, it's like we've done our own little version of Galacticos here. We've gone out and got top players for every single position. But me as a positive fan and someone who backs Mikel Arteta, this is it now. We have to win. We have to go and win. But I mean, to do it to Spurs, I did a podcast the other day and like a negative Dan, believe it or not, said, "Oh, don't worry. We'll make Spurs look silly and we'll come in and get him in the last minute." And I think he was saying it just in jest, more hopeful, really. But it looks like we're gonna do that. And
Yeah.
I mean, for Spurs, I mean Gibbs White, that whole situation, and now this, it's not looking good for them at all. And I can understand. Sorry, I forgot the name of the lady. I'll give her big credit for coming on as well, Kate. I can understand exactly what she's saying about Levy, because if this. Even me as a positive Arsenal fan, if we had let a deal like this go to Spurs, wow, I would be absolutely fuming.
Yeah. I'm just glad I got called a lady. That's made my night a little bit better.
Yeah, look, no, listen, I get you guys. I think you should be feeling happy. I think you should be feeling positive about the sort of direction that you're going in. And this is what, listen, it hasn't all gone in the order in which people wanted it to, but the vast majority of the positions that people that were frustrated with Arsenal last year phoned in and spoke about, you know, midfield, done. Striker, done. Attacking midfield, stroke left, done. Cover for Saka, done. You know, it's one of those things now, almost sort of, again, everyone's allowed to think and feel however they want to. But for me, it's a case of get behind your team, support them. You don't need to lose your mind after every setback, because you're going to get setbacks. You've got a very good squad. The expectation should be exceedingly high on Mikel Arteta now this season, and go and deliver. Aiden's a Man United fan. What are you saying, mate?
I'm good. I was out when I saw this news, and I thought, wow, what a signing this would be for Arsenal. I think a lot of people they've been seeing Eze play and they think they don't really know where he's going to play. I think that's a good thing about Eze. Is he's very versatile. We've seen he's been playing as a left 10 for Chris Patterson in a different type of system. But I think Eze going to Arsenal, especially the fact that they've over the past few years, we would have seen this news and Arsenal would have probably not done it. But I think now they're actually making the signings to help them get over the line, because we saw in January they needed a striker to get over the line and they didn't.
Wow.
Now getting the positions that they need, with he can play his competition to Odegaard or play on the left. I think Eze just coming into Arsenal gives him a whole different way of playing, really. Because Martinelli, if he stays, is a different type of player to Eze. Same with Trossard, really. So I think Eze can play he can play the inside forward role. He can play the creator role. So I think, really, whichever way Eze plays, it's a win-win for Arsenal, because if Odegaard's having a bad game, and you can just throw Eze in, like realistically, if you look at it, there's not a bad way for this deal to go to Arsenal. So I think the way they jumped on this deal as well to hijack it from, especially Spurs, I think a lot of Arsenal fans, that's the thing that they really like about this deal. So Eze to Arsenal, I think there's no bad way to look at it.
Yeah, and I think it's fantastic. And Kunle, you must be very excited about this deal.
Oh yeah, now my people, Nigeria FC loading. All my Igbo boys out there, come to the Emirates. That's what we're saying. We got Wanyeri, Igbo boy, Madueke said, Eze, come and hang out with your Igbo boys. Everybody go speak pidgin English in the Emirates today. I love it. I love it. And to be honest, I'm just here to crash it on Kate because I saw something I never thought I'd see on the terrace. Kate flexing. Like, I was like, what? Of all people, Kate, say it isn't so. If we sign this guy and that guy, we're going to have the best attack in the league or some shit. I was hearing all
I did
sorts
not
of crazy
say that. Don't you misquote
Hey,
me.
No, you did.
I
Something
did.
on those lines. Nah, but to be fair, I'm not going to spend too much time here because you're going to start asking me questions I don't want to answer. But, but what I will say is this is great news for the sheer fact, as Saad was saying earlier, it might not necessarily be the attacker that I wanted because everyone knows I want Rodrigo, but he's quality. You can't deny that he's actually quality. It gives us some different options, and boy, like I didn't think for me, Arteta has lost all his excuses anyway. But adding Eze, that's even more reason for you to go and get it done. You got to find a different way to play if that's what you need to do. Fit him in the team, put some pressure on Odegaard. Maybe some games they can play together depending on what position you're using him in. It's a quality attacker that can play in like probably 4 different positions, but does his best work through the middle. So I'm excited. Why not?
You know what Eze brings as well is that little bit of extra X factor to the team that sometimes Arsenal lack. That little bit of maverick ability that sometimes Arsenal lack. That the clutch moments. You got Saka that can bring it. Now you've brought in Gyökeres, who I believe he can bring clutch moments, and someone like Eze, who you've seen what he does for Palace. The amount of times he'll just come up with a free kick or a moment of magic. People say, "Oh, we don't want individual brilliance. We want patterns. We want system." Well, the best managers in the world need individual brilliance. I remember back when it was tight between Liverpool and Man City, and it looked like Man City were about to draw with Leicester. And then from the heavens, Company hits a shot that he shouldn't score, but he scores. And they win the game, and that is a game that tipped it in their favor. Every manager needs bits of brilliance.
Palace won. Palace got a great system, an excellent manager, a wonderful unit as a team. But those moments of brilliant from Eze, those goals, were the difference between those two things. When Arsenal won, Arsenal's last trophy you won. If it wasn't for I know it ended sourly because of professionalism, but if it wasn't for the brilliant finishing of Aubameyang, you don't win the FA Cup. Football went through this weird phase, and I blame not Man United, the football club. I blame weird Man United fans online. We went through this phase where individual brilliance was made unfashionable, and because those influencers and those content creators were very popular with a lot of people, everybody started saying it. I don't want a team that's full of individual brilliance. And I was like, but every great team in history has been full of individual brilliance. It didn't make any sense. It's like saying I don't want a boxer that's good at jabbing and got a knockout punch. Doesn't make any sense. Literally didn't make no sense. So you need that. London's finest. What do you make of this deal tonight, my friend?
Hi, Terry. Yeah, listen, if this deal goes through and if things are moving as quickly as I'm hearing they are, I'm expecting a here we go soon. Brilliant signing. I gotta say, a gal's line on Tottenham paid for Eze's hotel.
Hotel. My neck stiffened. I've been gym today. I had to click my neck. Sorry, that was me. Carry on.
I thought you couldn't hear me. So
no. I went like that, and my neck kind of locked for a second. I had to click it out of position. I click it back in. Sorry, mate. Go on.
Yeah, about Tottenham paying for his hotel in order for him to join Arsenal. That's going to go down in decades. That's going to be down memory lane. But yeah, listen, brilliant signing. I watched the whole game, Chelsea Crystal Palace, over the weekend, and I was watching him. I thought he was the best player on the pitch by a mile. And I was thinking in my head, I can't believe we're letting him go to Tottenham. Like,
I just hope he don't play tomorrow.
Say what?
So what are we saying?
Just hope he doesn't play tomorrow.
Nigeria next year, guys. Pre-season tour for Arsenal and Nigeria next year.
I don't think he will play tomorrow. I think that's why you're bidding more money. I think you're giving more money and you're giving better payment terms as a make weight to say don't play tomorrow, because
if he does play tomorrow, does that mean he can't play Champions League for us?
No issues with that at all. It's different competition, so it won't matter.
So just to avoid an injury, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've got to jump to some of these super chats here. I'm very, very sorry, just because they've been waiting a long time. The people. This here says if it's due to Kai's injury means they have money. Absolutely right. This here says, same feeling I had with Gyökeres as the deal seemed off. I tried to stay positive, but the relief now is unreal. If it's happening, it feels like it's happening. Big up, Kate. Or a real G is what Wayne says here. Levy was the downfall for Spurs. Sorry, Kate, is what Bermuda Guna says. Spurs should offer 50 million for Harvey Elliott. That's a good deal. That's a good deal for you. But Spurs, Tottenham. But you're saying you're a Man United, but you're Man United. That's Tottenham, bruv. That's a really good player for Tottenham.
I hear what you're saying. I'd rather have them get something like Malik Fofana or down that left wing than go for Harvey Elliott. I want to see the best play against the best. Harvey Elliott is just not that guy.
You want Tottenham to get better player. Come on now. More super chats here. Eze was a player I have loved so much since he broke into the Palace team that I had prepared myself to root for him at Spurs. Now I am over the moon. That's mad as well, to be honest with you. He is an Arsenal fan, went to the academy. Same sentence. Players don't like to think like fans. Terry takes his money and take this money and spend Kate a pint of beer. Buy you a pint of beer. All right, I will do that next time I see Kate. Chiellini, this is the history of the Tottenham. KJ, do you really know the Arsenal fan base? Is what he says here.
Yes, and that is why I said what I said, because you guys need reminding. You guys can't do it naturally. Support the team, man.
Definitely.
Very
well said,
true.
KJ.
Kate, if Spurs need an attacking player, we can offer you Fabio Vieira, a player who can say yes to Spurs, and you can have revenge on Sol Campbell too. Fair?
Terry, I think that's my cue to exit. I think I've took quite enough pain and abuse tonight. I've sat here and took it all, so I'm going to leave.
All right, Kate. I'll see you later.
Let the Arsenal fans celebrate.
See you later, Kate. Thank you, darling. See you later. Bye.
Commiserations.
Give Palace Kivior to replace Gahey. Well, that's not a bad idea, but they won't do a swap deal. It'll be cash. So Europa doesn't break the food chain for Spurs. I mean, Levy agreed that's why we. So I'm looking.
Ange got sacked.
Yeah, that's why Ange got sacked. So it moved off my screen. Spurs fans need to accept it too. It's one of those things. Like having Champions League football can help teams buy players. But this weird thing that we heard at the end of last season, like United are dead forever, Spurs and Newcastle will be able to do X, Y, and Z now. It was always over-egged. 48 hours ago, Eze agreed to Spurs moral police. Oh yes, Bose, yeah. How dare the player go back on his word? Yeah, exactly. It's why I don't care about any of that fucking bullshit. I am happy that we are going for Eze, but angry at Arsenal. Why did we have to wait for Kai's injury for this transfer? If he wasn't injured, then what? Our transfer market sometimes doesn't make sense. Pav, listen, I hear you, and I understand that. But in reality, you got him. You've got him. This is all on Spurs. They knew, this is from Joshua Jack, they knew he was linked to them in the summer. And when Madison, club to club's agreement's done now, according to Fabrizio Romano. We're going to come to that in a minute because I've got to rush. I've got to go in a second, people, because I've got to go live again. I beef for boss missing his shades. You do look a bit like him, Rob lad. You do.
That is cold. Mr. Beast fine, but not the final boss.
Arteta plays Odegaard right 8 and Declan left 8. So don't see how he replaces Odegaard. Well, he can play right 8. Can't he? Like, he can just do that and be the attacking midfield player. Terry, could it be ESPN 2 p.m. announcement for Arsenal move? It could have been. It could have been. Very quickly before we go, Dio, what you saying, bruv?
I like the deal, but I'm still worried about my left side. That's all I'm worried about. I still need that left wing fixed. Eze will do a lot in the midfield for us, but Trossard renewal, I like it. I'm happy. Let's have Trossard on the bench. If you can move Martinelli on and bring me somebody else, I would take it today. I will take it in a heartbeat. That left wing, we're going to suffer this season. We are, if we don't change it. Like, Eze will do all he can on that side, except if we're totally removing Martinelli, playing Eze and allowing Gyökeres to play from the left, where he's also very strong. But right now, if we want to win the league, we can't win the league with that left wing that we have.
the depth there is not good enough. It's not good enough.
Quick question. The front three of Eze, Gyökeres, and Saka, wouldn't we say that's a winning front three right there? Because with the Gyökeres, you need someone that can create, not just someone that can run. So having a wide playmaker out there, wouldn't that just be beneficial?
It's a good front three, but Eze's strongest point is left mid, right? That's his strongest point. You want to play to a player's strongest point. You want him to be able to be comfortable and do the crazy things he does. Forcing him out to hold the width is great. He'll perform, but he'll perform at 85%. We need to be performing at 100% consistently this season. Even when we play shitty, like what we did last weekend, we need to be winning. So my thing is, I would rather have somebody else on that left wing who's just as strong with Eze in there as well. And boom, I think we're good to go.
For me, I think what will end up happening is you'll start off on that left wing, but it will drift in and create a bit more for you guys. So I don't think necessarily you'll hold the width. I think probably your left back will do that in attacking phases, but I think you'll more likely come inside and help out in the middle from that left-hand side. So I think when I look at that front three, if you came to Old Trafford with that front three, I would have been more nervous. With you having Martinelli. With Martinelli over there, we could just, do our thing.
I hear you with the fullback coming, and covering on that wing, but that leaves us open behind. I know our defense is strong, but I don't want any mistakes this season. No excuses. Don't tell me that Lewis Kelly overlapped and that's why they were able to get past Gabriel and score. I don't want to hear it this season. Cover every base. Otherwise, just get Arteta out for me. And Berta, both of you, just get the heck out. If you can't.
I would say this, though. I listen, again, you guys, it's your club. I think you guys are in a real good spot. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in. I want to thank everyone who's super chatted and liked. I only went to go live for like 40 minutes. My dinner has gone stone cold now. And I do get the feeling that the Here We Go is imminent. Palace and Arsenal have now got agreed completely on the package. It's just between the player and the club to finalize details. So the Here We Go is dropping really, really soon. Listen, guys, hang on a second. Hang on. Some people are telling me it's already happened.
It's done.
No, the Here We Go hasn't come yet, is it? No, the Here We Go hasn't just dropped yet.
No breaking news.
The indicator bomber happened though. If you want.
Oh, okay. if the Here We Go comes, then we'll be going back live. Listen, people, hit the like button for us if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.